Imagine this. You're a broke Washington State University student, and you only have mayonnaise and a jar of pickles in your fridge. Not only is Crimson Couture performing at the showcase for fun, but also because it's for a good cause. Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated is charging each person an entry fee of $3 with the canned good and $4 without. The Multicultural Student Services Mentoring Program has more than enough resources for all their mentees. But resources is not all they focus on. They're also more focused on the retention rates, how to get the freshmen to come back for their sophomore year. Researchers say that limiting our screen time will help create a social life outside of our phones. Alongside food, Rosario's also has gently used children's clothing, books, small toys, diapers, and even feminine products. This resource is supported by donations given by WSU and surrounding communities. Choosing college classes are a challenge that most students are familiar with, but when it comes to choosing a professor for these classes, it can be a bit tricky. Students are using a review site called Rate My Professor to ensure a smooth educational experience. Users who have taken a professor's course can post a rating and a review of any professor that is already listed on the site on a 1 to 5 scale in 2 main categories: overall quality and level of difficulty. Additionally, raters can share if they recommend this professor, if attendance was mandatory, how often the textbook is used, and even a comment with up to 350 characters. But is this information accurate for users?
For some of them. I took an English class with one, and he was the worst professor I've ever had. So I was real upset because someone was like, "He's so great," and I was like, "Great." So I changed my English professor to him, and then I really didn't like that professor.
Most of my comments are positive, so I would say sure, they're accurate. I think it's really good for students to have some way to tell each other what to expect about professors. I do think a lot of the way classes are run is very personality driven, or professors have a lot of different expectations or styles, and hopefully we are doing a good job of communicating that to students in the syllabus or in other ways. But that's still different from what students tell each other, and I think in a lot of ways that information has always been passed on word of mouth or within student groups, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for students to be able to share that more widely with people who might not be part of those, informal social networks.
Holding instructors to higher standards is important, and student feedback is relevant. But if academic institutions don't take the right steps to assess teaching in a more holistic way, they may risk losing talented faculty members to accusations that may not be true. According to research conducted by multiple universities across the U.S., there were 3 main consistencies seen as to why Rate My Professor is not reliable. The rate at which students were filling out evaluations has gone down drastically in the electronic age. The tone of comments has started to resemble that of an internet message board with more abuse and bullying. Students who are aware of some or all of their grades tended to be harder on faculty members in both written comments and numerical assessments.
I think in some ways the format of Rate My Professor leans on things that are not always beneficial. They have the attractiveness indicator and stuff, things that really students shouldn't be encouraged to think about when they're choosing classes or professors.
I would recommend people just be cautious, because sometimes it's not 100% accurate for the professor.
In order to effectively evaluate professors, the system needs to be significantly rethought and reformed. This will take a considerable amount of time and effort, but the results will be worth the time spent. Until this sacrifice is made, be cautious when taking information from Rate My Professor or any other student feedback sites. This is Promise Calloway, Murrow News 8. Along with the many other tutoring services offered by Washington State University, there is one specifically built to help multicultural first-generation students. This service is titled the Multicultural Student Services Mentoring Program. This program is a student-led mentoring program that is located on the 4th floor of the Cub. The Multicultural Student Services Mentoring Program is comprised of 4 main student centers: Chicanx and Latinx, Native American, Asian American and Pacific Islander, and African American.
My job in regards to the Multicultural Student Mentor Program is to be the person that oversees that program, provides the kind of the big picture guidance and direction for the program. MSS is about welcoming the students. It's about providing what I would call culturally relevant services so that our students make a successful transition to the university. They stay, they achieve, not just survive Washington State University, but they achieve and ultimately graduate. And as they graduate, they are ready for the next steps, whatever that is, going to graduate school or entering the workforce.
My mentor was actually pretty helpful. If I was struggling or just like needed to talk, I would just text her, and she would meet up in the African American Student Center, and we would just talk, and she would give me advice on how I could be better, how I could get help. She told me resources that I could go to, so that was something that I really liked.
I've been a mentor for going on my third year now. I send out like weekly emails, ask, like how midterms went, ask if they want schedules for tutoring, just like things that would be like assets to help their growth academically, mentally, spiritually, financially, like whatever they may need. I try in the best way to like give them things that will help them along the way. The Multicultural Student Services Mentoring Program has more than enough resources for all their mentees. But resources is not all they focus on. They're also more focused on the retention rates, how to get the freshmen to come back for their sophomore year.
So the mentoring program has been in existence since 1988. So I think it's about 31, 32 years now that the program has been in place. And what we do know, I have been keeping the statistics for the program since I've been part of it. And so what I do know is that the students that choose to be actively engaged and responding to their mentors and participating in the variety of opportunities that the mentors offer, they will have better GPAs and they will be staying at WSU and graduating at higher rates than those that for whatever reason decide not to take advantage of what the mentoring program has to offer.
I know that I can always do more in order to help them, because your first year here, you're not going to know everything. And so there's always new things, like there's literally still new things that I learned about, and it's my 5th year here,
I think that having a mentor for your first year is actually pretty helpful. I know for me, I was kind of scared coming in here for my first year because I didn't really know anybody, but just having that upperclassman, that person that you could just not necessarily lean on, but just be able to like talk to them when you needed it, or if they were available, or they would check up on you. So I think that was definitely helpful for me.
In Pullman, I'm Promise Calloway, Murrow News 8.